Hey everyone. I'm just going to take a brief look at this statement on Christian nationalism and the gospel. There's a few things I want to go over, but briefly. I don't want to spend all day on this. So this came to my attention recently. I was watching Joel Webbin's channel, The Right Response Ministries, and he talked about this the other day and had a link for it. I was like, well, I guess I'll read it. I'm not thrilled about the term Christian nationalism, just to be quite blunt with you, and a lot of people don't like it. And I don't understand what is the great urgency to take this term Christian nationalism, give it some kind of meaning that maybe people could accept, and use it. I don't know what the point is. Because other than saying, oh yeah, Christian nationalism, all this document is trying to do is describe a biblical view of civil government. That's all. It's just trying to do that. That's its main thrust. So this Christian nationalism weirdness is just an unnecessary distraction. It's a provocative term. Gets folks riled up, gets them angry, gets them happy, whatever. Some are excited about it. Some are reluctant to adopt the term, but seem to be willing to do it anyway if it means we can have some kind of unity. Like, no. There's no reason to have this term, especially when all we want to do is make sure that government is following its biblically prescribed purpose, right? That's all this document's really doing. Hey, this is what the Bible says about civil government. Let's do that. That's all it's really trying to do. So get rid of this term Christian nationalism. No need for it. All right. So that aside, pet peeve time. This term civil magistrate. Nobody I know talks like this. Nobody I know uses this term. And it's just become popular recently with some in the theonomy crowd. Just get rid of it. Don't ever use it again. This is unnecessarily silly. It's overly pretentious. And pretentious is already too far anyway. But there's no reason to say civil magistrate. Just say, because when I think of like a sheriff, I don't think of magistrate. When I think of, let's see, one of my representatives in the state legislature, I don't think of civil magistrate. When I think of someone in the president's cabinet, I don't think civil magistrate. So let's just get rid of that term. Let's just think of government official. We'll cover it. It's pretty generic. And it's how we talk, right? Or you could say officer of government if you want a term with a lot of syllables in it. You could do that. But there's no reason to keep using this term. So that was my pet peeve. That's aside. Let's move on. There's a couple of other things to look at. And here on, down here, we affirm that the Bible is perspicuous in all essential matters. Okay, another pet peeve. Joel Webbin said that perspicuous is an unclear word that means clear. Well, guess what? Just say clear. We affirm that the Bible is clear in all essential matters. Or we affirm that the Bible clearly addresses all essential matters, or something like that. There's no reason to weight this sentence down with a word that nobody uses. So just get rid of it. All right. And brief word about orthodoxy here. This denial does not mean what I think they think it means. You keep using that word. We deny that orthodoxy is defined by any particular confessions. No, that's not true. Joel Webbin subscribes to the 1689 London Baptist Confession, and so do I. Those define orthodoxy. For him, defines orthodoxy for me. Local churches have statements of faith, which may or may not be drawn from the major confessions that are out there. Those define orthodoxy. What they're trying to say is they're trying to create a non-denominational civil government. that civil government should be non-denominational, Christian, but non-denominational. If that's what they mean, then they should just say that rather than this statement that we know is untrue, especially because this particular statement on civil government and the gospel is trying to define an orthodox view of civil government. So it's already trying to create orthodoxy, or at least express orthodoxy. So this denial doesn't make any sense. All right. Okay. The standard of justice. That's not what I wanted to talk about. It's the, let's see, a couple pages down. Let me go and look here. My apologies. I had this all worked out. Yes, here it is. Definition of a nation. Here we go. I have some problem with the wording here. Thusly, we affirm that nations should rightly maintain autonomous government and sovereign control of their people and place. Well, no. No. This is where we have some problems. We have a major disconnect. I'm not sure how many of the guys that drafted this document are of the theonomic post-mill variety, but this sounds like it's going that way, right? This word control. Civil government does not control the people. I'm going to say that just plainly. I read Romans 13, and I see that civil government serves the people. It serves the people, and as it serves God. It is there to administer justice. It's there to carry out justice based on morality. And when I say morality, the only real meaning of morality is what God has determined is right and wrong. That's what the civil government is for, to enforce justice based on God's morality. It is not there to control people. So that's a major problem. By serving God, the civil government serves the people as well. And one of the points of this document that's kind of lost on a quick read through is that it's meant to be addressed to Christians in the United States of America. So it doesn't really help you if you're in China or North Korea or anywhere like that. But let's just consider the United States of America. What is the governing authority in the United States of America? It's not the occupant of the White House. It's not the people in Congress. It is the United States Constitution, as ratified by we the people. It is not. Any officer in civil government is not the governing authority. It's the document that created their jobs. So that's a major problem that I see in this, and I think that they need to think those things through, and really give that a lot of thought. Because one of the things that I am concerned about with some of these folks in the theonomic post-mill side is I'm not really sure where they're going with their goals. What are their end goals here? And I don't really know. And as much as I've tried to listen to their content, I've never heard any of them say whether or not they actually want a monarchy, a Christian monarchy. Because it seems kind of like it, some of the ways that they're talking. And here down point number 12, this is the 5th page of the PDF here. We affirm that citizens are to submit to our rulers as unto Christ. Excuse me? No. They're public servants. We don't have any rulers in the Constitution. There aren't any. The Constitution is the governing authority, not the officers elected under the Constitution. Not one of them is a ruler. The Constitution rules. Constitution is the authority. And officers of civil government are to submit themselves to the Constitution as unto Christ, for his glory and for our good. These civil officers will be serving us, serving the people, as they serve God by following the law of this land. So I think there's just a fundamental misunderstanding of how God has delegated his authority in the United States. If Romans 13 expresses the idea that God has delegated his authority to civil government in order to enforce justice, and to be a terror to bad conduct, to those who do evil. And we're talking about the United States. The only way they get their authority that they wield is through the Constitution, to which they are accountable, as they are accountable to Christ. And that's where I have a major difference with these guys. I'm concerned that they're not understanding the consent of the governed. That God has allowed the United States to be set up by the consent of the governed. That this government draws its very existence from the consent of we the people. They serve at our pleasure. By law, we vote them out if we choose, and they have to get out of office. I'm not saying that there isn't corruption and all that involved right now, but the governing authority is the Constitution, right? And we have state constitutions. These are our governing authorities, not people. And that's my biggest beef with the drafters of this document. Also, it's not the statement on Christian nationalism and the gospel. It is a statement on civil government and the gospel. So again, I want to be brief, but that's where I'm at. This needs a lot of work. I'll put a link down in the description so you can read it yourself. Take it easy.